What's up guys? This is Astranox and we have the developer's notes. So some interesting stuff in there. You know, well, there's Kise. Kise, she was supposed to be buffed before. They had to delay it, you know, rework her skills, mechanics. I went through the whole thing, you know. There's definitely some interesting stuff in there. So let's go in there together and I'll give my thoughts as I go along here. So here are the heroes. Yes, Apocalypse Ravi, she's in there. There's Kise, Cartuja, and Dingo. So let's start with Apocalypse Ravi here. What have they changed? You know, the crit chance buff was based on how much fighting spirit she had before. Now she just gets 30% crit chance passive. That's the thing though. Yes, it makes it easier for her to gear. You can gear her out much more easily, but the change of these two things is not really making her like... The problem is that this revives an ally with 10% HP with skill nullifier. It's like in a niche situation, like it's a very specific situation and you need to actually land a killing blow. So in most cases it's not gonna happen at the start. You know, you're gonna have to when the battle drags on, you can eventually just use that thing. You know, you can use it like in Guild Wars on a long battle. In Arena, if the battle does drag on, I mean, if they do have some sustain, you'll probably just end up dying from the lightning damage. So yeah, now with these two things, easier to gear, it's good, it's reliable. You can just have her with 70% crit chance from the gear and her base stat, and then you got 100% crit. This should actually apply to your crit chance that you see in your character sheet. And this thing, I mean, it is interesting. It is interesting because now, let's say, okay, Guild Wars, you can definitely use this. You're bringing heroes that are more tanky on your side. Maybe you do have one hero that is more squishy, you know, that you're going to be facing a team that has some pretty high offensive power. You pair her with like a support, a healer, and your third could be, you know, a hero that goes first. It could be a Bazaar, it could be like a nuker or something. And then like when you're cleaning up at the end, I guess you could save this thing to land the killing blow to revive the dead ally. And then you would be able to use that ally again in another battle. But they have not changed like the mechanics. The thing is, if you do land a kill and you do revive someone, they are coming back with the 100% combat readiness. So, you know, a support landing their heal, anyone really, if they got nuked before they were actually able to, you know, use their skill 3 or something like that, you make them come back and they're ready to go again. So it's interesting, but yeah, I mean, on a counter set with a nice amount of stats, well balanced between offense and defense, she is definitely super annoying to deal with. You know, even if you try to bring a cleave, you might not be able to take her out, and it did happen to me quite a few times. The problem is she's left alone there, there's lightning damage piling up, and then, well, yeah, the lightning damage just keeps on ticking up, like higher damage, and you can't sustain it, or you barely have any sustain, and she starts to pick your team apart. And then this thing is, well, even the AI will use this initially, but then you'll be able to use it again, and then you revive someone. So there's no way to come back from that, especially if she revives someone that helps her to stay alive. It's just super annoying when that happens. But now they can just go again. So in real-time arena, this is definitely gonna be better. She did definitely get buffed, you know. It's not massive. It's a lot of players could say that this buff was trash. You know, normally you kind of the way you built her before is almost like you go for 100% crit chance because you can't really rely on that 5% crit chance. Now at least you can go with 70. That means you can go with a crit damage necklace much more easily. You need much fewer rolls into crit chance. So that's good. You'll have to re-gear her. And yeah, you will end up with more offensive, more crit damage, or more survival, a balance of your stats anyways. Okay, let's just move on because I did speak a while about her now, but let us know in the comment section what you guys think about these changes for her. It's yeah, they haven't reworked the whole thing, you know. The mechanics are still the same. We're just getting 100% CR. Still has only 10% HP, but with skill nullifier, it really depends who you are fighting. It really depends who you are fighting. Now, I'm not gonna go through this stuff here, but let's jump on to Kise here. Before, it used to do 70% more damage against targets that are covered with barrier, but now it's 70% damage against targets that are buffed. So Wyvern is, I mean, when he goes into barrier, it's a buff. It's a buff that cannot be dispelled, but nonetheless, it is a buff, so you will still be doing that 70% more damage. Now, she's way more viable now in a Guild War situation, maybe in arena, PvP. Well, it's kind of a cleave fest in there, and when it comes to cleaving with this change as well, it's her multiplier on skill 2, even though it does penetrate defense, it's not enough. It's not enough, and she needs a requirement to be in stealth to be able to actually pull it off. But since now, on this skill, a critical hit will grant a barrier to the caster for 2 turns. And the barrier strength increases proportional to the caster's attack. So what is good is that she's going to have high attack. Her base attack is, I don't know exactly. I think it's like 1200. It's pretty high. It's pretty high, or close to 1200, around there. So that's good. The barrier allows you to not get knocked out of stealth, which is another thing that is very powerful. The thing is, if you get hit with AoE damage, you take 50% less area damage when you get hit by that, because you are in stealth. Now, if you are in barrier and if the barrier doesn't break, you don't actually take damage to your health pool, then you stay in stealth with the barrier left. So that is good. That is good because it's going to be harder to take her out of stealth, meaning that she's going to be able to combo with her skill 2 and penetrate defense. And that brings a bit of survival to her, you know. So that's good. She needs to land a critical hit, so if you use this on a hero that, you know, if you do miss, if the enemy evades, then yeah, it's not going to be a crit. If you are trying to finish off some earth target, maybe in a real-time arena, you end up in a matchup that, you know, you have Kise, you picked her earlier, and they brought some earth enemies. You only ban one. Anyways, you have to deal with that earth. And that's the thing, though. You have to land a critical hit for that barrier. But still, I feel like the skill 1 that's really good because it's a lot of situations where this thing is going to be viable. So many encounters in PvE, the target has a buff, so it will happen. You know, the damage increase when you're hitting a target with barrier, the fact that you can soul burn her skill 1 for 10 souls, she does a lot of damage. She does a lot of damage. Her multiplier is quite insane. I did love using my Kise when she was when she came out for a while, you know, on my account number 1. But after Wyvern, after Guild Wars against when DN was like more meta, you know, well, when she was meta, then barriers were pretty popular, and Angelica, of course. Barriers are everywhere. You know, there's Fallen Cecilia. Even now, you can definitely use her in Guild Wars the way she is. But this thing now with buff, that means, I mean, so many buffs, immunity set, all of that. So that's good. That's good. Way more viable. They didn't do like a whole rework like we might have thought, but she can definitely see more use now in PvE and in PvP. So that's good. Let's jump on to Cartuja. So to be honest, I didn't pay attention that much to the change to him, but there's Dingo after, man, and yeah, Dingo is really interesting, and I'm definitely gonna build him after this buff, it's actually quite insane. It's actually quite insane. I really like it. I really like it. So attacks all enemies with wild energy, healing the caster by 50% of max health before granting increased defense for 2 turns, with a 75% when it's max chance to decrease attack of the enemy for 2 turns. Damage dealt increase proportional to the caster's max HP, with additional damage increase when the caster has less than 50% HP. So what changes here? Well, it's 100% chance now, 100% chance to decrease attack, and this thing here, yeah, damage dealt increased proportional to max HP, with additional damage increase when the caster has less than 75% health. So it will trigger earlier on. So they just changed some values basically. It is impactful, I guess, but so far the Cartuja, okay, that's good. But the thing is, yeah, Apocalypse Ravi, I feel like they should have done more. They should have done more. Still underwhelming, still niche, very specific situations where she can be useful. But as she is on defense with counter, you can be unlucky and she keeps countering, building fighting spirit. Super annoying to deal with if you don't have the damage to take her out. Just able to sustain herself. Well balanced stats are really hard to deal with. It's still a pretty high amount of offense and still can't take her out. Even with some effect resistance, can't land debuffs against her. Super annoying, super annoying. Anyways, Cartuja, better with this thing. So that's it. That's the change. But still, that is a more reliable way to land attack break. So that's good. And also, yeah, AoE attack break is actually huge. It is huge, cutting their attack in half. Very powerful debuff. So let's move on here to Dingo. Dingo, man. Oh my god, crazy. So this skill, Quick Grill, attacks all enemies with the glove oven, recovering the caster's health. So now there is recovery, and the recovery is proportional to the damage dealt. Very cool. Doesn't heal the team but himself, so that's some sustain for him. You know, we could go and check his stats after and check his skills right now, but I mean, we see his skills, but I mean his stats, because I'm not exactly sure how much survival he has. I don't think it's that good, but Dingo can definitely see more play in PvE after these buffs. So some sustain, and look at this thing. This thing is actually huge. Now, all allies, well, it affected all allies before, it dispelling debuffs, all debuffs, and then now it increases hit chance, critical hit chance for 2 turns. 50% crit chance for your whole team. You can build a team around this. I need to go see the cooldown on that. It's like 5 turn, goes down to 4, and then maybe, I'm gonna have to check. This thing, when an enemy dies, you reduce the cooldown of this skill by 1 turn. So that's good. But the thing is, there's a lot going on, man, with this skill. You've got Dispel all debuffs. Huge game-changing, you know, when you use a skill like that. And you've got the increased crit chance. So 50% crit chance is a lot of stats. You can tweak your team to when he used that, you can get like 100% crit chance. And on fights, like let's say as Maniac Hunt, you know, you're killing ads and you're decreasing cooldown of this thing, allowing you to probably have a really high uptime on this crit chance buff. Very reliable if he stays alive, of course, but he has sustain now on his skill 1, so that's very good. Wait, that is sorry, that's skill 2, Quick Grill. Still, it's an AoE, so if it's gonna hit multiple targets, as Maniac Hunt, it could be in PvP situations as well. Well, more on offense, of course. So that's cool. That's cool. Way more accessible than Challenger Domino. But there's also Furious. So we can't forget about Furious. He's free, but he doesn't dispel all debuffs. That's big. That's big. And you decrease cooldown by 1 turn on the whole team with this thing. This is huge. This is huge. 3 big things are going on with 1 skill, and the cooldown can be reduced by 1 turn for every enemy that dies. And it doesn't matter, you know, if he lands the kill or it's someone else, you can build him more as a support with you know, a mix, a decent amount of speed and some like a good amount of offense. Of course, in PvE, in most cases, you're gonna build him with a lot of offensive power, but don't forget the speed because you want him to cycle through his skills faster. Since this is an AoE, even if his damage is not that high, count for the fact that he only builds 50% crit chance because of this crit chance buff. Account for the fact that it's PvE, so maybe he's at elemental advantage, let's say versus Golem, so only need 85% crit chance after the buff. And then account for the fact that in AoE, it's going to deal a lot of damage anyways. And then if the target or targets are have defense down debuff, then even more damage. So he's going to be able to sustain himself quite well, depending on the cooldown on this thing. But remember, this is decreasing cooldowns as well on his skill 3. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. I like it. I really like the change for Dingo. Definitely worth building now with these changes. So that's cool. That's cool. Now let me, you know, I can't actually get out of this thing. I'm gonna close the recording. So let me restart my game, I guess, because yeah. Okay, boys, I'm back. So Dingo, yeah, his stats are actually quite good. I still have some more thoughts about Apocalypse Ravi after I'm done with the looking at his stats and talking about that. So his speed 112 is actually very good. You know, you put him on a speed set with a nice balance of offensive and some defensive stats. He's gonna do really good, man. He's gonna do really good. That skill, yeah, 6 turn. Okay, I thought it might have been 6 and then goes down to 5 because it's too powerful, especially after. Wait, did it say that it give an extra turn in the notes though, the developer's notes? I thought I missed that, but this grants the caster an extra turn. So that means you can already shave off 1 turn off the cooldown. So it's basically a 4-turn cooldown. It's basically 4-turn cooldown right there. The unfortunate thing is if you do have buffs on him, then you are losing a turn on that. So yeah, there's that you have to consider. And the question is, maybe the extra turn was replaced with the crit chance buff. I have to go back and check now. I do like that this is a dual attack. More RNG there. Can get some crit chance on the self. But in terms of offense and defensive stats, of course the attack is not that high. But still, considering his whole kit, and then the HP is okay. I mean, it's a warrior, so it's definitely on the low side. HP with defense, it's not bad for PvE. 27 crit chance base with the 18% effectiveness. You know, this is bleeding, some debuff, and you got the burn, so some debuffs. Definitely can do quite a bit of damage. So let's jump on to yeah, Apocalypse Ravi, and then I'm gonna go check in the developer's notes what's up with that extra turn, what happened with that. So Apocalypse Ravi, the way she's gonna be after, what I'm thinking, my thoughts are, well, I kind of gave them, but there's something else you have to remember. Imagine, like, there's a big comeback situation with Apocalypse Ravi in a PvP situation. Let's say in Guild Wars, but specifically in real-time arena. She stays alive. Let's say the enemy team doesn't want to deal with her early on, and then they're left to deal with her at the end, right? Then, yeah, huge comeback potential with her kit. Because, yes, it's random. The revive is definitely random. But it's 10% HP with skill nullifier. Skill nullifier is huge. Let's say it's down to a 2v1 or maybe 3v1. I mean, they could knock off the skill nullifier when someone comes back. But there's some potential for some really sick comebacks, though. 100% combat readiness to the one that will be resurrected with skill nullifier and 10% HP. Is actually, it could be really interesting. It could be really interesting, especially if they had a big cooldown up. That would definitely be insane. Getting your healer back up, Just like in Euchre or something like that, there's a lot of comeback situations that are possible with her. Only a 4-turn cooldown, so you have to keep that in mind as well. So let's jump on to those developers notes once again, because that extra turn, what is up with that? What is up with that? Have they replaced it, or is it still there? Because he would need, he would need a not to consume a turn from the buff of the crit chance buff if he's getting an extra turn as well. Well, actually, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because he can go for damage after that. But definitely the uptime on him is not gonna be so great. Let's see here. Yeah, grant the caster an extra turn. It's there. It's there. So definitely huge, like game-changing skill when you pop this thing. So 6-turn cooldown, 5-turn cooldown with skill ups, and then he grants an extra turn to himself. So it's realistically a 4-turn cooldown, right? And you have the crit chance buff. You have it for 1 more turn after using, if you chain with the skill 2 or skill 1. Definitely very cool. And yeah, just the fact that you reduce cooldown of this skill by 1 turn every time you kill. He definitely will see more play. You know, he's not going to be showing up in defense. I mean, he could, but it's not going to be super effective because, I mean, he could go potentially first or something like that, but he's quite squishy, and I think he's going to be picked apart like early on because his skill 3 is huge. Too many things are going on with that skill, and I love that for PvE. You can really base your team around him, considering this is a 4-turn cooldown. Skill 3, you know, for the rest of the team, you already have, let's say everyone's on the same amount of speed, no one's getting extra turns and stuff like that in their mechanics, you know, their skill set. There's an uptime of 50%, which is already really good. Now it's not gonna be so hard to actually have him faster than the rest of your team, especially slower damage dealers. While supports usually have high speed, but it doesn't matter. Who cares about the support? He's already supporting with debuff removal, so there's that. But yeah, you can definitely do some beautiful things with this hero and build your team around him. 50% crit chance required. Definitely could have like a 75%, 70 something percent uptime on the crit chance buff on the rest of the team. It's quite reliable. And let's say you're building with 50% crit chance, maybe you have 1 or 2 more damage dealers that are at elemental advantage in that battle, and then you're going to be getting 15% crit chance on top. So you're at 65% crit chance when this is not running, let's say. So it's actually quite powerful. Dual attack memory imprint, which shouldn't be that hard in the long run to actually get a few of, because he's a 4-star GB hero. So definitely very cool. I'm happy about this. Well, these buffs, definitely for Dingo. You know, Cartuja, he got buffed. That's good. Kise, definitely gonna see more play. The fact that it covers, you know, heroes that are buffed instead of, targets that are buffed instead of requiring a barrier on them. Way more uptime on buff, so very good there. The barrier is going to allow her to definitely have more survival, allowing her to stay in stealth and, you know, cleave. Better chance to combo with skill 2, stay in stealth because of that barrier. High attack already, so it's going to be, yeah, it should have a decent strength on that barrier. Apocalypse Ravi, yeah, massive counter situation, massive comeback situation that can happen in PvP. Some like, oh shit moment in real-time arena. You're like, oh man, if Apocalypse Ravi like res that hero and then like they're gonna get 100% CR, I'm wondering what kind of skill they have available. So there's definitely some really crazy stuff that we're gonna be able to see in the future with her. But also, if you are using her on offense, let's say Arena or Guild Wars, you'll have your fun with her. There's a lot of situations where it could be really cool. But yeah, kind of niche, you know, very specific specific situations because it's only 10% HP. Skill Nullifier is powerful, lasts forever until taken off, dispelled, or damage is dealt to, well, that gets nullified. Still, nonetheless, these are buffs. These are buffs. Definitely not what we might have expected. The buff came, yeah, it came like faster than I thought it would, right? But now, yeah, if there is another buff for her, it's not gonna happen for quite a long time. I feel like if there's complaints and all that, but she's not trash tier, you know. She's actually very powerful in some specific situations, but now she's even more powerful. Of course, she's not OP material, but there are some situations where she's quite OP. You know, last one standing, you can't do anything to her. She's sustaining your damage. Lightning damage is piling up. In real-time arena, you can't take her out. She's gonna, like, there's that threat of her using skill 3 only on a 4-turn cooldown. It deals quite a bit of damage. It's not insane, but it's a decent chunk of damage. Not something that will happen on turn 1 against a full HP target in most cases, but with attack buff, the right setup, it can happen. The thing is, it's more for like in a late battle, you know. It's definitely a game changer if you pull it off. If you pull it off, of course, relying on that when the AI is controlling her is a different story, though. But yeah, it's that if you can't take her out, that's it. Just the fact of that she heal herself with skill 1, the fact that her passive heals her as well whenever she gets attacked, the fact that on a counter set she's building fighting spirit, allowing her to heal herself more like constantly. Then the AI, you can't take her out, you die. You can't finish off this guild war. You lost. You can't take her out in time. Lightning damage kills you in arena. Even if real-time arena, the fight drags on for longer, then if the rest of the enemy team took out some of your heroes, then the AI, I mean, you might not be able to take her out. She's just gonna end up dealing more damage as the battle drags on, because there's like a damage buff and a a healing reduction buff, but still she's gonna be able to sustain herself and take the enemy team, your team apart or something like that. So definitely, like, it's good. It's good we got the buffs. It's before real-time arena, and yeah, I feel like Kise could have been a cooler, like, it could be cooler. It could be more interesting if she was reworked, but it was like changing from barrier to just if they have a buff, and then this applying a barrier, and you have to crit. You have to crit to actually land it. So evasion, you miss. You know, elemental disadvantage, well, you wouldn't bring her against Earth anyways in most cases, but maybe you are unfortunate and it does end up happening in a real-time arena, something like that. Anyways, it's cool. It's cool. Overall, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it could have been better. So let us know what you think in the comment section, guys. That's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Astranox. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. Press the bell icon for to be notified whenever I release a new video. And check out my other videos. They should be showing up on the screen now. Best starter guides. You know, check those out. You are an early to mid-game player. A lot of videos about, like, giving you a bunch of tips and tricks along your way while you're, like... Anyway, even if you're level 65, there's some really good tips in there. Check those out. Guild War playlist. You know, I've got Arena playlist, Europe, Global. I got Guild Wars on Europe server, Global server, real-time Arena soon. And a lot of guides, tips, and how-tos. Also, Abyss Floor 62+. If you haven't seen those videos, check it out under my channel and playlist. I'll also join my Discord server if you still haven't. We have over 800 members now, so you can talk about Epic 7 or even other games. There's a channel for that. So that's going to be it for this one. Good luck with all you do. Peace out for now.